So we've introduced responsible leadership and we've talked about why it's so important. Now we're going to talk about 8 leadership behaviors that you can implement in your business to be more socially responsible and to build a more successful and sustainable organization. These 8 behaviors are: appreciate your opportunities, engage with people, lead with purpose, commit to what matters, empower others, build support systems, continuously seek improvement, and communicate the truth. The first behavior is to appreciate your opportunities. Now, from employee volunteer programs to social criteria purchasing to environmentally friendly products and services, there are literally hundreds of different social responsibility initiatives and opportunities. So, how do you decide which initiatives to include in your program? While each can create value in its own way, certain initiatives will be more relevant to your industry, business, and stakeholders. These initiatives are the ones that will create high amounts of both social and business value, and this is important as it will help obtain support from all stakeholder groups, allowing your business and your social responsibility program to thrive in the long run. So, how do you find your opportunities and how do you select your initiatives? The first step is to determine where your business is heading. You should ask yourself, what type of business is this? What is the purpose of the company? What vision do we have for the future? What specific goals do we have? What are our values? Asking these questions will help you figure out where you want your business to go. Now, how are you going to get there? The next step is to figure out what you need to successfully achieve your mission, goals, and vision. What are your critical success factors? What resources, attitudes, standards, or processes do you need? Try to consider your industry, your company's competitive strategy and industry position, environmental factors, and the organization's internal needs and challenges. To answer this question, you might want to say success depends on our ability to. Now fill in that blank. What do you need to succeed? Finally, you want to identify your risks. What could hinder your organization's ability to reach its goals? You should think of reputation risks, economic risks, operations risks, safety risks, regulatory risks, and legal risks. By identifying where you want your business to go, what you need to get there, and what might get in the way, you are taking an important first step in identifying what social responsibility initiatives might be good opportunities for your company. Every social responsibility initiative has its unique impact and benefit to your business and to your stakeholders and in your industry. And now you can consider the initiatives that will help you fulfill your needs and mitigate your risks now that you've identified them. But before selecting initiatives, you should also consider what might be important to your stakeholders. And this brings us to our next behavior, that's engaging with people. Every business has groups of people who impact or can be impacted by its operations. Often these groups can be vital to the business's success, such as employees, customers, and suppliers. As these groups are so important, a crucial element of responsible leadership is to include them in your social responsibility program. The best way to include them is to learn about and respond to their perceptions, expectations, and needs. By doing this, you'll be able to find the social responsibility areas and initiatives that will be supported and valued by these groups, while building trust and strengthening your relationships. So how should you determine who to engage and how should you engage them? Well, the first step is through stakeholder mapping. It's important to realize that there is no generic list of stakeholders for all companies, and that this list of stakeholders will likely change over time. You can identify stakeholders by using a number of different criteria. You can look at groups or individuals to which you have a legal, financial, or operational responsibility. Groups or individuals that are impacted by or dependent on the organization and its operations. Groups or individuals that can influence the organization and its performance, and/or groups or individuals with which the organization interacts often. The best way to come up with an inclusive list is by brainstorming with a group of individuals that represent a broad number of areas in the organization, such as different departments or different teams. Ask what groups fit into the above criteria and consider subgroups. Some typical stakeholders include your customers, prospects, employees, suppliers, strategic partners, owners, regulators, media, and the list really goes on. So now that you identified who to engage, the next step is to determine what is important to them. Questions that you will want to ask all stakeholder groups include: in what ways does your business impact the particular stakeholder group, in positive and negative ways? It's important to look at both of these. How would your stakeholder group describe the relationship you have with them? Are there any particular social concerns that are important to the stakeholder group that your business might be overlooking? How does your stakeholder see your business contributing positively to the position of the stakeholder? How do they see you contributing positively to the community? What negative impacts does your business create? And what would your stakeholder like to see you do differently? For each stakeholder, you should also create a unique series of questions that is specific and relevant to their unique position. For example, looking at employees, you might want to collect information on their physical health, their stress and mental health, equality and diversity, engagement and fulfillment, development, job satisfaction, and maybe the environmental impacts of their commute. So now you've figured out who to engage, what questions you want to be asking them, but what is the best way to engage them? Well, there are a number of methods that you can use to engage your stakeholders, but some will be more appropriate and effective than others. Some of the most popular include email or written questionnaires, in-person meetings, online surveys, focus groups, stakeholder advisory or assurance panels, telephone hotlines, feedback forms on your website. There's no perfect formula for choosing a method, but there are some important things to consider. What is your current approach and level of engagement with that particular stakeholder? What is your stakeholder's time availability? Will the chosen method provide a comfortable environment for your stakeholder to be open and honest? Do you have sufficient time and resources for applying the method or mix of methods that you've chosen? Does it work for the stakeholders that you want to engage with, thinking about time and accessibility? Is the method suitable for the number of people in the stakeholder group? All important things to consider. By engaging people and finding out what is important to them, you'll be able to develop stronger social responsibility while simultaneously enhancing your stakeholder loyalty. So this is an important behavior. The second one, engaging people.